Oh, okay. Alright, I guess we'll get this started actually. Hello everyone. First stream. Back from, I think last week was a pre-recording because I didn't have time to do it, but I've currently got with me B-Boy Phoenix, as you can see below. Unfortunately he doesn't have a webcam, so he has a little image that he's obviously got down there, but for tonight, what we are going to be doing is we're going to be talking about Paul. Paul is B-Boy Phoenix, one of B-Boy Phoenix's best characters, and essentially we'll be talking similar to how we've done the previous episodes and everything like that. We're just going to go through a couple of the good moves, some of the bad moves, strengths, weaknesses, a bunch of other things that we actually want to cover as well regarding Paul, and we'll probably watch some top level Paul towards the end of it as well. So hopefully anyone that does come in and joins me for this, that'll be fantastic, and it'll be a good time to have a bit of a chat and obviously give us some love. So that'd be fantastic. But B-Boy, are you around? I think he was getting a drink before as well, so hopefully we'll actually see him come in.
Hello.
Oh, hello. You can. Yeah. Yes, I can.
Oh, yep. Cool.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Everything's good.
Hello,
it was a bit weird. Yeah. It was a bit weird. We obviously couldn't hear anyone there. But
right.
yeah, it was weird one. But what we're gonna do, we'll start off. We'll start off nice and easy, man. Like. Obviously, welcome. Thank you very much for joining me on Tekken at Higher, the episode 4 for Paul. And how you doing tonight?
Good, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I was over at Colin's place actually this evening, this afternoon, playing some locals, and it was a good time.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've been able to play some. I guess a few. Like casual offline matches, and this is definitely one of those ones where, it's brings people together. I think we had like maybe 5 or 6 people there while I was there, and apparently some people were coming in after dinner as well to come play. So it was a good time.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
sounds
excellent. Good. Yeah, definitely. So, what we will do is we will go through and we'll start off. Firstly, I want to get your opinion on this particular subject, seeing as you are a Paul master, or somebody that does play Paul a fair bit. Is who should play Paul? Who do you think should play Paul?
You do hear actually a lot of the time people do recommend Paul to a lot of the new players who come into the game, mainly because he is a hard hitting character, but he also, I think when you're starting out at Tekken, he can be played quite simply. He does have that stigma of being like a 50-50 character. However, I think when you start progressing to the more advanced stages of Tekken, you can't really play him as that style of character anymore. So I think it's good to get you used to the fairly simple moveset. He does have the quarter circle notations. Mm-hmm. But I do think like someone starting out, it's a pretty good starting character. You do hear him get thrown around a lot. Jack gets thrown around a lot for new players. Characters like Shaheen as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do recommend Paul to new players also. Mainly because I am a bit biased, and I think we need a few more Paul players out there. But...
Oh, absolutely. I think Paul is honestly one of my probably most hated characters to play against, because I find that he's really like I find the people that play Paul at like a higher level are very solid players. They're very patient. They sort of wait for their moments and opportunities to sort of strike, and then when they do strike, they strike hard. Like it's not like a couple of jabs here and there. It's literally just like half your life gone in like a couple of hits. And it destroys your morale and obviously momentum based play. So it's one of those things that I've obviously found quite difficult to play against personally, and I think one of the main reasons that I wanted to bring you on here is obviously because if I can't play against a Paul, I want to know from a Paul player how I should play against you, or how I should sort of be able to defend against a Paul, like because that's obviously going to help me in the long run, and hopefully it'll help other people out as well in the group as well. So without further ado, I guess we'll get into it. So obviously, Paul,
Sure.
you were talking to me before about it. That he's very sort of like you can play him both defensive and aggressive as well. And this is one of those things that I want to sort of go through today. Essentially, I want to go through some of his really good moves that he's sort of got that allow you to say that he can be played both aggressive and defensive as well. So what I'll do is I'll jump into this game and I'll invite you.
Sure.
And hold on, actually, I forgot to change the lobby settings. Rounds 499. Okay, cool.
Yep.
All right, let's invite Mr. Joe. But yeah, so obviously we'll both play Paul. So if you have something to teach me, you can do that. If I have something to teach you, or if you want to demonstrate something where you say you can sidestep something and you need a demonstration, I'm happy to do that. But let's go here. Okay.
Do we want wall? No walls?
No walls would probably be good to start off with, and
Yeah.
obviously if there's something that we want walls, then we'll jump into it. But
Yeah, cool.
yeah, we'll start off with no walls just so we can demonstrate some of the good moves and some of the bad moves and stuff like that, and we'll go from there.
Sweet.
Okie dokie. Have a look. Ooh, that's right. I modded this stage, but for myself. So on my stream, like the stage looks completely different to what Infinite Azure would usually look like. Which.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I've gotten into this modding thing. Like I've just started like grabbing. Like it doesn't actually do anything. It just changes it for me. Like anywhere else that I go, completely useless. Like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But it looks nice. Looks nice. Okay, cool. Let's go. So first off, we've got 99 seconds on the clock. What do you want to start off with? What are some? I guess what are some moves that you want to sort of highlight and show that are really good for Paul?
Obviously you see the the main one, Death Fist.
Yep.
It's like such a good whiff punisher, really. If people whiff something, you just throw it out. A lot of things people don't realize though is it is quite punishable, especially at close range.
Yeah.
So if you Death Fist, especially with Paul, you can punish it with another Death Fist.
As long as you're like on point, right?
Yeah, correct.
I'd say it's pretty hard to do so, but like it's 16. This is a great map.
Yeah, right.
There you go. That I was literally holding back that entire time. There you go. That's two in a row. So it is possible. So what? It's what 16 frames for a Death Fist?
15, I think.
15? Oh boy,
Yeah.
it's a good amount of damage for 15. That's pretty good.
Punish some pretty good moves, man. Death Fist.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess Death Fist, one of his major tools that you would probably say that Paul has. What would you say is good against for that one? Like how essentially would you I guess battle that?
The thing with Paul really is he is quite a linear character.
Yes.
So Death Fist can be steppable quite easily.
Yeah.
So jab and Death Fist, jab. Whoop.
Yeah, it's all good.
But I'll show you, if you're realizing a few people are doing that, I'll show you what we can do to counter it.
Yeah.
So I'll jab and Death Fist and you sidestep. Yep.
Right, cool. And then you just go like into a full combo or whatever.
So now do it again.
Yep. Oops. Yep. Oh, I see what you're trying to do. Like, there's a bit of a dash in there, right? Or like you're trying to readjust the actual the
sidestep a sec again.
Yep.
Keep sidewalking. All right. Go again. Okay, maybe not. You see when you sidewalk.
Yep.
See how I'm adjusting?
Yeah.
When you tap back.
Right.
Sometimes if they just go for a, not a real deep sidewalk, if you tap back before Death Fist, it can still catch.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, it's still steppable. But I am noticing as well, you are stepping to his weak side. So if you sidewalk right, A lot of his good moves will actually whiff to that way. Like if I go sway back 2, you'll sidestep it. If you go the other way,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
catches.
Get wrecked that way.
So quite a few of his moves will track that way. His quarter circle back 4 is a very, very good move.
Yep.
That will actually track both, I'm pretty sure.
It's a homing move, right?
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
The thing with Paul, though, so like some of his strongest mix-ups, I think, are from his down forward 1.
Okay.
You see a lot of people, will do that to apply pressure. The problem is, though, a lot of his moves,
Yep.
like all his sway mix-ups, are jab interruptible as well.
Oh, really?
So I'll do the
All
other
of them?
one.
Whoa!
I'll show you.
It's only if it's a block, right?
So that will be interrupted, but then he's got that launcher, which will crush. So you see, it's to me, Paul's Death Fist Demo Man game is not really the whole 50-50. I think more of his sway game is where his 50-50 comes into it, because that will crush high, that will crush high as well.
What was that? That was quarter circle back 3, right?
Yeah, the back 3. So you can get a launch from that, or you just follow it up and do another mix-up. The thing is too, as well, is you can cancel it. Obviously, go into like sidestep 3 or back 4.
Okay.
So
let me win this round. Let me win this round.
Yeah, they're very common mix-ups that they tend to do at more of a higher level. You don't really see them go for 50-50.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. I haven't seen too many like Death Fist Demo Man pulls. Yeah.
The reason I think for that comes down to movement. Like if you jab, do like a jab dash Demo Man to me.
Yep. So like
go
that.
again. You see that? How movement comes into it.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So you're essentially backdashing. It doesn't make a clean.
Correct. So if you're good at backdashing, like Korean backdash, you can make it not trip you.
Right. Okay.
Demo Man also has some weird properties with tracking. So like, if you track one way, if I'm behind you, the last hit will hit me.
Oh. Okay.
Quite bizarre. So I don't really recommend sidestepping against that. I recommend more movement.
Yeah. So what? Just like backdashing against that? Just trying to stay out of that optimal range.
Yeah. So if I jab and you go to a backdash, Demo Man will whiff. Like the first hit will just skim you. Yeah. Which is why I think I've never really landed a Demo Man against a Korean before. Only up against a wall. And I think which is why too you never really see many real top level players use Demo Man.
Yeah. Okay. Do you think it's reactable like Demo Man? Maybe.
Not really, because it's
like do
this sort of dumb stuff. I think like Joey Fury, he'll like that one or Demo Man, and then he hop kicks, for example. So it's tricky.
Okay.
But yeah, so Demo Man, I think really it is it's overused. I think people give it too much credit for what it really is.
Yeah.
You win this one.
Yeah. Okay, so what have we gone through so far? You've said down forward 1 mix-ups, so just down forward 1 into back, right? That's how you do that. Yep. So down forward 1 into back gets you into sway. You said you can cancel it by just like
tap up
or down, right?
So back up. Yep.
Right, cool. So there's that, and then you've said Death Fist is obviously a big player in Paul's game, yeah. The Death Fist, down forward 1 mix-ups. What else would you say is a pretty good
back 1-2 is so good.
Yeah, hit confirmable, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I actually think it's one of the best punishes in the game.
Yeah. Do you know how fast it is?
Very good move. It's 12 frame.
12 frame. So it's a 12 frame punisher. Knocks down on hit. So what does it look like on knockdown? Cool.
And then you can run up, like if you go to get up or anything after it.
Yeah.
Like, I had to dash a bit more, but
Yeah.
You can run up Death Fist and it will hit.
Okay.
If they stay down, obviously you see like quarter circle forward 3 or
Yeah.
the roll forward 4.
Yeah. Yep.
It's a very, very good Oki move on hit.
Okay.
Near wall as well, you get Demo Man afterwards, guaranteed.
Okay. Yep. Right. Oh yeah. Okay. Cool. So it sounds like back 1-2 is a really good move for Paul as well. So down forward 1 mix-ups. Obviously, you mentioned that although down forward 1, the 50-50 of that can be quite deadly, you've also got the opportunity, because they're all jab interruptible, you've also got the opportunity to do the launch underneath, which is sway 1+2. But if you can't get that, then I guess the next thing that you've obviously got is obviously the sway cancels, and then also if you choose to sidestep right, you've got the option to sway back 4, right, which is his homing move.
Correct. Oh, so, up back 2 as well. Another really good move of Paul.
Okay. So I guess when it comes down to it, right, like your main tools are your down forward 1. Like you don't even have to do the sway back afterwards. You can just do down forward 1 and then you can down forward 1, right? And if that doesn't work, like if people start ducking, then you can start swaying back, or you can like mix up your timing. Like if somebody wants to jab interrupt.
A lot of the time, what I'll do with down forward 1 is you might actually see like knee and stuff do it too, I think, from memory. But, you know, Paul, I don't really think he has very, very good tools to keep the pressure on.
Okay.
So what you'll see is they'll do like neutral game a lot. You know, they'll do something like this, wait a sec, dash in, back. You know, they'll chip you down forward 2. That's how they tend to play. I don't really think he's got moves to keep the pressure on besides, like this move here, the Hammer of the Gods. I think it's +3 from memory.
Ooh, nice. So that's what
that
plus
one surprisingly on block I think is 0. So it's actually not very good move for something that looks so, plus frame. That's one of his good ones. Quarter circle back 4 is one of his really good plus frame moves.
Yeah.
When we get to lows, his best is that one for sure.
What's that one?
Forward 3.
Quarter circle forward 3. Yeah, I've actually seen a lot of people use this, and I see people use it as like a keep out, right? Like they'll be at a pretty decent distance. Yeah.
Yeah, like the range is really, really good, and it tracks quite well too from memory. So you might have seen. I think a few people quite a while ago asked, like, if you do oops, sorry.
Yeah.
If you do the counter hit version, instead of going for Demo Man, or sometimes I'll go for launch, I do down 2.
Okay.
The reason for that is it doesn't push them as far away.
Okay. Right.
So it does give a little bit of Oki potential afterwards, depending like what they do. Whether you
okay. So you've got your forward 2 mix-ups.
Correct. Like
you can
something
dash
like
in
that,
maybe Death Fist or something like that. Okay.
Not sure how many people know now as well, but this version is actually NC now.
Oh, is it?
It used to be NCC back in the day.
Okay.
And it's actually quite a good tracking move. Like you'll see when someone has wall pressure.
Okay.
Yep, that's it.
I'm so used to doing this that
like if people are if you're trying to apply wall pressure and people are trying to step out, you'll see, I think Justice does it a lot, where he'll from a distance he'll like bait it like that. Because it tracks quite well and it will catch a side step for a re-wall split.
Okay.
And also, when people tend to see this motion, they're generally expecting that. Yeah.
Okay. Right.
So you can, either mix it up with the elbow or the knee. The knee is also a very good move.
Actually, how do you do that out of the crouch dash? Is it
just 3+4?
Oh no, the
quarter circle 3+4.
The elbow. Yeah.
More one?
Forward 2.
Oh, yep. You delay delay a second, just like that one. The while standing 3.
Oh, okay.
You know, when you do these sort of combos on counter hit, you'll see they do that. So they dash, wait a second, then do it. Otherwise, you'll get that straight out.
Okay,
So it's just all about a slight delay. So you do your quarter circle forward, boom. So that's quite another good mix-up that they do. They do something like, you know, the knee into like a low chip move into while standing 1.
Yeah.
While standing 1's a 10 frame.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. It's not bad. Not too bad. Not many instances where you'd use it. Except like, you know, if you're expecting to stop some sort of offense from a force crouch move. Can punish Brian's forward 4, which is funny.
Yeah, okay, cool. Alright, cool. So we've got a couple of moves under our belt at the moment. So down forward 1 mix-ups into obviously your sway options, right? You got back 1, 2, which is a natural high hit confirmable tracking move. That sounds really good on paper. Like, it sounds really good.
Yep.
I know that I know you can duck it, right? Is the only thing on block.
Yep, correct.
Right?
Correct.
Yeah. So obviously you
can
can
also
duck it if you need to.
I'm pretty sure too you can get the delayed. Try again. Yep.
Wow.
So it is quite heavily punishable.
Yeah. Okay. Heavily punishable on whiff, right? But then you just sort of
correct.
just do the 1. Because back 1 is safe,
That's
right?
another actually good thing you brought up, because a lot of people will wait for it, or people who you can tell who react to it, you know, something like this to apply pressure, or, you know, chip at a low or something like that. So if you're noticing they're ducking for it, yeah, you can do something like that to keep pressure on. They're essentially giving up the offense with that duck. So
okay. Oops.
Oh, sorry.
It's all good. So essentially, so I guess what we've learned so far is that, like, it's not necessarily about the things that do a lot of damage. Sure, your Death Fist is really good. Sure, your Demo Man is really good if your opponent isn't very good at movement. But if your opponent is very good at movement, it becomes a very neutral game. So I guess you'll start using a lot of down forward 1s into sways, even just sway on their own, your quarter circle forward motions. So people will think that you're going to use those 2 big moves, right? Your Demo Man and your Death Fist, but realistically only end up sort of using him when you can sort of see the opponent react to something that you're not supposed to do, right? So realistically, you could crouch dash in with your quarter circle forward motion and then do nothing. That'd be like a mind game in itself, right? You could essentially just throw people off just by doing one of these ones, just like start doing this, and then if you see them duck because they think, oh, he's gonna delay into like a Demo Man, you just do like a Death Fist or something like that, or you can just go in and then just do a down forward 1. Sway back, and then it's essentially just sort of doing that. Okay, cool.
I think when it comes to like wall pressure though, that's where probably a bit more of the 50-50 comes in with Paul.
Yeah, okay.
Because obviously right up in your face, you know, you can get Demo Man quite easy.
If you've got a wall behind your back, you can't cause the Demo Man to whiff, right? Or you can't cause it to not trip. It's either going to trip, or you're going to get hit by a Death Fist. Okay, and, so wall pressure is a huge thing.
I noticed too is if you're near wall and you do a sidestep, people are generally expecting this because you get that on counter hit. Oh, why isn't that hitting? Bizarre. You do it to me. Hey, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm drunk.
You're just gonna, you're just gonna mash it.
Correct, but yeah, it's plus 12 on counter hit. The stop. So you're actually guaranteed back 1-2 into Demo Man, or if you want to be real cool, you can do it into Barge for a wall splat.
For a wall splat, yeah, and then you could.
A lot of people don't realize too as well that the up back 2 near a wall on counter hit, you're actually guaranteed Barge for a wall splat again. So So
Okay.
that usually will push them back, but if you're near wall, it will actually splat.
Oh, right. So up back 2 is another one, is another good move as well that you would recommend
Yep.
using. Yeah. It's a knockdown. It used to be back 2, right? But now back 2 is that.
Yeah, correct.
Okay,
I
cool,
still
cool.
get mixed up with it from time to time.
Okay, so up back 2, which is his homing mid, safe homing mid.
Yep.
Safe homing mid. You got back 1-2, which is a safe homing high. Not safe. Wait, the second hit is safe, yeah?
Of back 1-2.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Up
So
back
it's a
2 is safe, but it is -9, I think, from memory. So
okay.
it does put you at a pretty big disadvantage.
Yeah. Okay. So both of his homing moves are quite good for Paul, like in terms of offense and defense. You obviously catch
Correct,
people as
yep.
they're trying to step. You go
Yep.
back 1 for
Yep.
confirm. Like you
Yep.
confirm that. You got your death fists. You got all of those other moves. So obviously it sounds
Yep.
like he's quite a strong character in the neutral game. It's not like you need to like. I guess for my example, like Claudio, you need to sort of have good spacing and be able to sort of make your opponent whiff, because if you can cause them
Yep.
to whiff, you can then punish them quite heavily. While Paul will do both. You can whiff punish with your death fist, but you can also whiff
Yep.
punish with like hop kicks and stuff. But if you
Correct,
don't need
yep.
to be that far away, you can also be really aggressive with your death fists, with your down forward 1s, your quarter circle forward 3 as well, like your low kicks and stuff.
Yep.
And that sort of
Correct,
opens up your opponent.
Exactly.
to
So
start pressing
you
more
do your
buttons.
neutral game. You'll dash, you'll sidestep, wait for something to whiff with the low, and then they jab, boom.
Yeah.
His forward 4 you see people use a bit.
Yep.
I think it's okay. Probably a bit more for like the Oki game, but it is, very steppable.
yeah.
Very, very steppable.
Okay, cool. Right, so it's good in certain situations. So it sounds like
Yeah,
Paul has a handful of really good moves, and then he's got moves that will, depending on your opponent's situation, be better for. So you said
Yep.
that's better for Oki and stuff. While you've also
Yep.
got, I guess, like while standing 3 related things, or back 3 is it? This is 14 frame.
Yeah, that's actually a very, very good move as well. Sorry,
Yeah.
my bad. So it's a high. You can get different combo variations off it for some pretty good damage.
Yeah.
The only criticism of it, obviously, is the range.
Yeah.
It doesn't have very, very good range. So it can't really punish, say, moves like Jack's down forward too close up near a wall, unless you're close on a wall.
Yeah.
However, I'm not complaining because, minus a 14 frame launcher is actually pretty good.
It's pretty good, man. Like 14
Yeah.
frame is pretty good.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
You see a few things too, like say at a distance to end a round. I
Yeah.
really like, throwing out down 1. Has pretty good range, like phantom range sometimes too.
Yeah.
You can stay crouching or, recover standing.
Oh yeah.
I actually don't mind like down forward 3 as well for some odd reason, like near a round. Because the if you charge the second hit a tiny bit, it's completely safe. I think that one on its own is I think it's -10. Might be -9. I can't remember, but
then
no
you've
one really
obviously
ever
got the, you've got
punishes
the follow
me on
up as you need to
Yep.
as well. Yeah.
correct. Actually, down forward 3 is -9, so
Oh yeah.
it's a pretty good move just to chip it out. And if you manage to get the charge, you get a crumple stun, so it's another launcher.
Okay. Chaotic Punisher is saying that down 1 is good for Eddie as well, right? So if Eddie's in relax
Correct,
or whatever,
yep,
like that,
yep.
that'll hit Eddie. So
Correct.
that
So I do that against Rami would know that heaps, but that's one of my main moves against him. It's
Okay.
down 1 or just down back 4 to get him out of relax. But
yep.
depending on the situation, 3-2 will float.
Yeah.
But sometimes it won't. So depending on the situation, how he gets into relax.
Yeah. Obviously,
yep.
dependent on the moves. Okay, cool. I guess we've covered a lot of his good moves. So I guess the pros and cons of playing Paul. Then we'll get into that quickly just before we have a look at a couple of videos. So what would you say a good pro is with Paul? I guess damage being one of them, and I guess if you've got like a good mind for a neutral game, Paul is a really strong character, right?
Yep, correct.
Okay.
You know, his damage, his whiff punishing. He also has, I think, some of the best comeback potential in the game.
Yep.
Just because of how hard of a heavy hitter he is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, if we just hit this combo on its own, you know, you get the Death Fist and then the roll after too. You know,
that's guaranteed, right? Yeah.
Yep,
that's
correct.
50%.
Like,
that's over 50% damage.
Crazy.
Just with like a counter hit up back too.
Yeah.
So
and if you're,
quite good.
Say for example in Rage, you know, any low parry or a down forward 2 and you do the Rage,
yeah.
You know, the hard combos, you know, flying knee 3-2 back 1-2 into something like that.
Yeah.
But for 1 damage less and actually really easy is you just do quarter circle back 4 elbow Death Fist, and I think it does like 94 damage or something.
Wow. Okay.
And obviously with it only being, you know, 3 hits, boom, boom,
yeah,
you can carry to a wall quite easy. So after the elbow, if you want, you can demo man to the wall. You know, you can 2-3 for a pretty decent high wall float as well.
Okay. Alright, so you'd say his Rage Art is best used for like combos and stuff, not necessarily.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's still pretty good because it's the only Rage Art in the game that you can cancel as well, right? So you can use it as a launcher or comeback potential.
And he actually has a combo in Rage that is it's nearly death, and it's actually quite simple to do.
Yeah.
The timing is a bit difficult, but it's quite simple. Like if you go get him into Rage, you can show. So if you get the counter hit, sidestep into this, sidestep, that's a bit low, but you get the roll, you actually can bound with while standing 3-2.
Really? Wow.
And then dash Death Fist again. And I think you're only left with about 10 health.
Wow.
So
I mean, even that, like incomplete combo, like you still did almost 66% of my life, if not more.
Correct.
So, yeah,
I think it does like 123 or 126 damage.
Cool.
So the key to that one is, you know, you get your 2 side steps in, but the Death Fist, it has to hit when they're still quite high.
Yeah.
Just so the forward 4 will hit them while they're still rolling.
Yeah, okay. That's crazy. That's so comeback potential, definitely a strong a pro, right?
Yep.
Huge comeback potential. So if you have those clutch reads, it'd be really good because then you can essentially jump in and go, cool. Paul is my main. Paul is a good character that can have those clutch reads, smash out those people, and if somebody's like, oh, I'm gonna predict that you're gonna duck here, so I'm gonna Death Fist you, right? Like that's huge potential, a huge amount of damage. So that's obviously there. What would you say is a weakness of Paul?
Well, for me, talking out of experience, I find his pressure game when I want to keep pressure on.
Yep.
A bit of a problem for me. I like to play him a bit defensive, especially until I feel a player out and see what they're doing, and then I get comfortable. I'm like, okay, we can do this or that, or they're not attacking after, you know, this move or that move, so I can do that and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I find against Mishimas, for some reason, I struggle hard with Paul. Especially like, you know, when I try to get his neutral game off. So I'll do something like this, you know, I'll dash, wait a sec, then I'll go to attack, and I'll eat an electric.
Yeah.
And it happens every bloody time. I cannot keep pressure well on Mishimas.
Yeah, because essentially, I guess Paul's main tools for pressure are essentially keeping them in range 0. But then if you back off for even a moment, the Mishima then has advantage straight away because you've got +5 for all of your electrics and stuff like that. it just makes it really hard for you to be essentially get back in. So
yep. And I actually find that's why I tend to use Jack or Brian now for Mishima pick. I find it a much better matchup. If you can apply pressure well, you know, they got some pretty good moves to keep the pressure up, or some really good counter hit moves. I find it really good. But Paul, he just has, you know, too many little holes with his pressure game. I find.
You said that any sway back option is jab interruptible, right? Other than
correct.
The thing. So obviously there's holes in his gameplay, which obviously do make him, I guess, if you were to take that into account, probably not best for somebody that likes pressing a lot of buttons, right? Like somebody that likes doing a bunch of combos and stuff, doing something like this, probably not the greatest idea for Paul. But if you play patiently, or if you think quite patiently, Paul would be a really good starting character, or a character that you'd actually want to pick up. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
absolutely. Like I think a few people might, I don't know how they do it, but you see, you know, Knee beat Kudans using Devil Jin, for example, Paul Devil Jin. Tin likes using Paul against Mishimas.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't do it. I've never really had success with it. So.
Okay. Well, at least we know that some people can do it, some people can't. But I think pressure, obviously, as a Paul player yourself, pressure. Because I know that you've been playing Paul since what, Tekken 3 or something like that, like a long time, right?
Yeah, 5. Yeah, when I started. Back in So a few other moves, you know, people tend to do Shredder a bit. I very rarely do Shredder.
It's just like any other hop kick, right?
You can tell they're doing like a long range low. Yeah. You know, you have a read on it and you can, you know, throw it out. Realistically, you know, something like that or a normal hop kick is better. You get much better damage potential. Yeah. And it's also very punishable Shredder. Like
14, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Was it 13?
13, I think. Yeah, it must be 13. I was thinking 14. I know Aiken can electric me from it, so it must be 13.
13. Perfect electric. Okay, cool. Yeah. So that's a good sort of, I guess, basis for Paul as a character, right? You've got a lot of different moves that I guess it comes down to the actual potential of you being able to play patiently. For one, as you said, obviously there may be some people that can play Paul quite aggressively, but then the moves change. But from yourself, obviously, you've given us a lot of like homing moves, a lot of moves that would essentially work for, I guess, people that want to play Paul a little bit more defensively, but not necessarily super defensive, right? Okay, cool. So what about anti-Paul? Oh my god. What about anti-Paul strats? What would you say is really good against a Paul player?
I like to play really patiently against a Paul. So at distance, you know, what really does Paul have at a distance? You know, he has a roll, which is steppable.
Yeah.
Or you can easily backdash it, you know, launch.
Yeah, okay.
His quarter circle, you know, 3, at a distance, it's quite readable.
Yeah. So if I'm over here, right, like, you have to be, like, about here, and then even then, like, you can still see it.
Yep. Like, you can obviously mix it up with something like that one. Which is quite good, but, you know, you'll block a few first before they figure it out. So then the thing is, though, when you start blocking a move and punishing it, you know, once, twice, they won't do it again. Yeah,
because, I mean, then they have to try and think of... They have to think of other things that they can do in order to get in, right?
Correct. So that's then when you'll see them start to do, you know, the knee or some dumb stuff like that one.
Corner circle, forward hop kick. That's pretty good. Okay, so I guess patience is king against the Paul, right? Okay, so what exactly would you say is patient for a Paul player? Like, would you just try and force a whiff in an infinite stage? You just sort of stay at a distance, punish something that they might throw out, and then just sort of back off?
Correct. Yeah. Correct. Okay. So
usually sidestep right as well?
Correct. Like, I like to poke a lot when I verse a Paul player.
Yeah.
Tend to do, you know, a lot of the low poke, so for example, see what's happening.
Yeah.
At distance, though, I find is where you can really bait the whiff. Obviously, though, he's a hard hitter back, so
Yeah,
you want
yeah,
to
of
be
course.
careful in that sense and
Yeah,
make
like
sure
you
your
you
neutral
want
game is
to.
not too out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you want to make sure that you don't whiff as well, because if you whiff, like if you're
Yep.
here and you do that, you're right in front
Yep.
for a free launch, right? So
Yep.
you want to
Correct,
make sure that you're
correct.
not doing that. You want to at least hit something.
Correct. Yep. And I'm not sure how many people know this, obviously, but if you're a close death fist, the pushback is very small.
Yeah.
However, with when it just hits you the tip, the pushback is much greater, less damage. But I like doing that a few times. Say, for example, when I'm versing someone who I know will punish it well.
Yeah.
Just to see how consistent they are with it. And a lot of moves that do tend to punish Death Fist will whiff at that range.
Okay.
So then you get a free launcher.
Yeah, because they'll
if you
try
do
and do
that
something.
once or twice again, they'll stop doing it. So then
Yeah.
you can go in for the hard-hitting Death Fist and see what they do with that, how they react to that.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Cool. Cool. Well, that's
Actually,
quite good.
another very, very good move of him too that I
Yep.
left out is down back 2. Really good move, counter hit launcher. It's -10, but I think there's only 2 characters in the game from memory that can punish it.
It has some pushback on it?
Gigas and yeah, Gigas is 1-2, and I think Jack's forward 2 will punish it.
Okay.
Very, very good pushback. It hits grounded, very good Oki. It's a good wall splat move. And also, his Sway 2, I think, is very good game. Pressure game near a wall too. It's -8 or 9 from memory. A lot of the things I notice people playing a Paul, if you have them up against the wall, you go to sidestep, they generally will think that's coming out.
Yeah.
That's like his only sidestep move. So, instead of sidestepping Death Fist, because that's launch punishable right up against the wall, is, you'll sidestep and do like quarter circle back 3, quarter circle back 2. You'll be surprised how many people actually go for that low. And I think for Paul near a wall, it's suicide really to duck.
Yeah. No, it makes sense because obviously you got Death Fist, right?
Yeah.
Not a good idea to duck. Not a good idea to duck. But no, that's cool. So, like I said, there's a lot of good moves, a lot of bad moves that you've got as well. Which obviously we won't mention too many bad moves here because the idea is to try and get more Paul players to jump in, or at least maybe get one of the current top players to jump in and sort of, I guess, pick up Paul and start wrecking and getting even better with Paul. But I guess what we can do, I mean, we've been talking about these moves for what, close to 40 minutes now. What I'd like to do is sort of just bring up, I guess, some top level Pauls, and essentially see how we can see, I guess, their take on it. So you've given me 2 videos. One is JDCR versus Joey Fury. And the other one is Knee versus Kudans.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so let me win this, and then we'll exit the game. I'll jump in and I'll share my screen so you can actually have a look at those
Sure.
videos with me. So let's do that.
Another thing I'll chuck in, actually, a lot of people tend to do mix-ups with Paul's forward 2. So, his forward 2-1 or his just frame version.
Yeah.
So the mid or the mid-high.
Yeah.
However, I think, I can anyway. I think with a little bit of practice, you can react to both of them.
Okay.
So even if you go to duck, you're expecting the high version.
Yeah.
You still have time to stand back up and block the mid version.
Yeah.
And the mid version's -12. So I'm not sure how many people know this as well, but if they do the forward 2 1, so the -12 version, or they cancel the forward 2, you can actually get a rage art in between. Will interrupt.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, so
that's interesting. I never actually thought of it like that, like being able to interrupt to be able to do that. Now, okay, can you see my the screen that I'm playing at the moment?
Yep.
Yeah, excellent. So this is Paul Knee versus Kudans. Devil Jin
Yep.
versus Paul. Obviously, good sidestep. You mentioned back 1-2 is definitely good. All of these moves you've literally just talked about. He was just doing quarter circle forward 3. I saw back 1-2. I also saw forward 1+2, which is the Hammer of the Gods, and also sway back 2. Literally all of the moves that we went over.
Yeah.
There was a tiny bit of just that in there.
Yep. Correct. And if you look at Knee, when he does apply the pressure, we'll have a look. I was saying it before.
Yeah.
Let's see when he starts applying it again.
There you go. You've got a little bit. He's got some movement, trying to cause whiffs. Sort of just like, I guess you mentioned that Paul's a very sort of neutral game character, right? So with one of these ones, what I'm seeing a lot of is that. Oh, that was your quarter circle forward. So actually, if we go back just a sec, you'll see the quarter circle forward into the forward 2-1 that you literally told us about. So obviously,
I'm gonna just quickly refresh your stream.
Yep.
So I think it's a little delayed for me at the moment.
Okay. If you go into Discord, can you actually see my screen in there? Because I should be sharing my screen with you at the moment. So if you jump into Discord.
Oh yeah, right. Right.
Yes, so you'll be able to see that. So going back just quickly, I think no, that's. We'll go back a little bit. Here we go. So this is the bit where I was saying where he does the quarter circle forward in motion into like not a quarter circle forward move. So he'll get him to the wall. Yep. And then quarter circle forward into forward 2-1.
Yep.
Yeah. So definitely one of those things that obviously do come up, even in top level play. I think it's just dependent on obviously how the opponent reads it or how you would actually be playing it to sort of get it to work.
Yeah. Correct. And that one from the crouch, it's actually just down forward 2-1.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think the beginner would really know that. I can't remember if it's actually in the move list or not.
Oh, it's a full crouch down forward 2, right? Full crouch down forward 2.
Yep, correct.
Yeah.
So
no, I think it is in the move list.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, because it looks the same to forward 2-1.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just the crouch version.
But it definitely like jabs are pretty universal. There was a demo, man. Me trying to go for a demo, man, and get really excited. But I mean, the thing is like, this is the first. He's still playing Paul here. Okay, cool. So I mean, in that you were able to see like a bunch of different things just happening and allowing, I guess, Kudans to take advantage of Knee's attempt at a demo, man. Given that Knee is in the winners, this is the winners final.
Right now, how he was doing the quarter circle forward 3.
Yeah.
He starts playing the neutral game just for a second, just to see what he's doing.
Yeah. So you can see actually going back a tiny sec, you can see that he does a quarter circle forward and then nothing. He does it a couple of times actually. I think I saw it a couple of times. And you mentioned that's to sort of just pick out what Kudans would be doing, right? Yep, will he automatically be ducking because he's at the distance that quarter circle forward 3 would work, or will he just wait and sort of just see what Knee is doing, right?
Yep.
This is where you're saying that Mishimas have better pressure than Paul at the moment. So obviously.
Yep. Correct.
Yeah. Devil Jin being one of the best Mishimas in the game, if not the best. IMO.
Well, you see Paul as well. Like he got 1-2-1 hit.
Yeah.
And he starts playing the neutral game straight away.
Yeah.
I've seen, I think, another video where he was versing Kudans too. He'd do a sidestep 3 or back 4, He'll dash forward a sec, dash back,
yeah.
see what they're doing, then maybe throw out another move.
Yeah.
It just kind of wants to make sure that they're not going to interrupt with anything like an electric or crush
of
anything
course.
that's following up.
So here's something that obviously want to bring up as well. This is where you mentioned that back 1-2 is a really good move because it knocks knocks down, and then you've got a mix up afterwards. He's done a quarter circle forward 1, got him to the wall, done a good amount of damage already. That's like 66, and then you see like the get up kick whiffs because Knee decides to do sway back.
Yep, correct.
Bam, sway back
and
into.
I don't know really any other real 12-frame Punisher move like that.
Yeah,
that gives you such damaging mix-up potential.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was 60% damage right there, just from like a couple of hits. Like ridiculous.
Yep.
Okay. You can see, yeah. So it definitely is a neutral game right now. Like you've got down forward ones, you've got, oh, there you go. There's the counter hit back 1-2. So literally everything you've brought up over the course of tonight's show has essentially just been shown and showcased in this. It's just the level of play in this is obviously the best in the world, but the moves are still the same. The best moves that you use are the ones that we were talking about tonight. You can see this movement is obviously what's setting apart Knee from well, movement and decisions, right, is what's setting apart somebody that's just starting with Paul versus Knee, right? Is he's making decisions, but the moves that he's using are the ones that we brought up. You got your quarter circle forward mix up, right, where you don't actually do anything, you just sort of see where they go, and then you've got your back 1-2 for catching them while they're stepping or whatever, and then you've got up back 2. I've seen Knee use a fair bit. Down forward 2, which is his safe mid launcher.
Yep.
Quarter circle back 4, which is really good.
Yep. Correct. Yep.
So there's just everything. Like everything we've literally gone over this evening has definitely been shown in this particular video. Like this video alone. And I think you mentioned previously that Knee plays very defensive as well. So similar to your play. So I guess that's what makes sense in terms of this video, right? That Knee plays safe, so you play safe. And like the moves that Knee is using are the ones that you would use as well because of that very theory, right? But if we take a look at this other video, let me bring out this other video. This is Joey Fury and JDCR.
Yeah, really aggressive. So this is how you tend to play like more of a rush down Paul.
Yeah.
He doesn't really care much about, the frames and stuff on hit.
Yeah.
I think JDCR obviously was, he's probably not really used to playing a Paul
that is aggressive. Yeah. Ooh.
like I don't think you've ever seen, Knee do, down forward 1, back 2. I don't think I've ever seen him do something like that.
Well, this is definitely like a completely different way of playing Paul than what we saw earlier. Like, Knee was very patient, while Joe Fury is literally just mashing buttons. And even though we said that, I guess, Paul isn't the best for mashing buttons, you can see that if you make the right decisions, then the buttons are gonna, save you. Like, everything's gonna be fine. But
correct. I think that's what also makes Paul quite a good tournament character.
Because you can play him in both aggressive and defensive matches. I guess it just depends on how you want to play Paul. How you decide to play Paul.
Because he's such a hard-hitting character, like this here, you can just see it, JDCR just wasn't ready for this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, in a long set, I'm pretty confident JDCR would figure him out and,
quickly
come back.
Come back.
I think JDCR, from memory, only won 1 round in this this whole set. Yeah, like look at the pressure and just grab. The parries here are what made the game. Really, really good.
Boy, I just knocked my microphone down, but absolutely, I mean, you saw like obviously Joey in that instance, literally doing being the most aggressive Paul that I've actually ever seen. It's definitely a different completely different ball game at that point. Because when you're watching Knee play, right, you play patiently, and I think that's what JDCR was expecting. It's like, oh, Paul pick, I guess I'll play patiently and try and stay back. But then Joey Fury is like, nah, you can't be patient with me. I will literally like run up in your face, so you have to guess, so you have to like figure out what to do. And it obviously paid off for him, but as you said, as a tournament character, so you would say Paul is a very good tournament character, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And I would agree with that because of you can see the two very different styles here, where Paul is like destroying this particular this matchup, and then in the other one, Paul wasn't necessarily destroying that matchup because the Mishimas were able to beat that. But this was obviously a situation where your opponent couldn't get a read on you because you were just attacking so hard. While in the other one,
see, like every time JDCR tries to get a bit of offense, he's interrupting it with like a down forward one or just a jab, or a quick low poke, just to gain that offense back, and then he goes back into rush down mode. Yeah,
that's crazy. And obviously, like you mentioned that, obviously Knee being very very patient. And obviously, that's how a lot of Koreans play. They play patiently, and some people will obviously play a little bit more offensively in some situations, but in this you can see the huge discrepancy between somebody like thinking, okay, cool, I'm gonna play patiently against this Paul, so you have to be able to adjust. But if you can't adjust, that Paul is gonna run over you very quickly.
Yep, correct.
And it's definitely one of those things. Like, I mean, obviously JDCR wasn't ready for this. He's won one round, and as you mentioned, obviously not his greatest performance, but Joey Fury definitely showcases the aggressive Paul.
Yep.
Yeah.
And even that there, like the down forward 1-1, he did that twice in a row.
Yeah.
Like really, you would duck that like in an instant.
Yeah. But then obviously if you start ducking it, Joey will then start using swaybacks, right? Because then you can see the duck and then adjust to it.
And I really don't know, man, what's, I think the pressure might have been getting the JDCR at this point.
Yeah.
Just too much rush down, not thinking straight. But that sort of move, it's actually quite easy to react to duck.
Yeah.
So doing it twice in a row right in your face, one after another.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think just it shows, like, when you really rush someone down, they tend to freeze up.
Yeah, absolutely. Because obviously, at that point, like you sort of just lose all confidence. You don't know what to do, and you sort of you have to try and adjust. But if you can't adjust, then you'll end up getting hit a fair bit. And obviously, this happens in death matches. This happens all the time. Like you'll just see people like going through and getting knocked down all the time, because they're getting rushed down by their opponent, and they don't know the frames, they don't know which way to step, and then it just causes them to lose their confidence, and then obviously they get rushed down, and all 3 rounds will pretty much be completely taken out, right? Like that's how I would probably see most of these matches.
Yeah, absolutely. And Knee, what is it? Knee. You said not too long ago, Brian is not a very good tournament character.
Yeah.
He's very, very hard to play consistently in a high-level tournament.
Yeah.
Which is why he tends to use a lot of Paul now. I'm saying Paul's a very good tournament character. Paul, Jack, they're very, very good tournament characters.
Yeah, because you can really play them rush down.
Potential, correct. Good rush down potential, good mix-ups.
But you've also got the option to play defensively and make huge comebacks as well. Both of those characters have good comebacks, and we're now watching.
And when you're only talking 2 sets, like by the time anything can happen. The set is over. So,
exactly.
A few big hits here and there, and you've already lost one game.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, you've given me a huge database of essentially what I should be expecting with a Paul. So you mentioned that obviously the two offenses, I guess 2 offensive types. You've got offense is your best defense, and then you've got defense is your best defense type of Paul. But so what would you be looking for? So obviously we've been talking about a very defensive Paul. just on a final note, what would you say against a very offensive Paul? What would you think would be a good strategy against an offensive Paul?
Try and gain the offense back. Number one. Depending how good your defense is, you know, I would test the sidewalk. So sidewalk right. A lot of the moves, you know, that Joey was throwing out in that set, the right timing, sidestepping right, you could have sidestepped.
Yeah. Okay.
Even some of them lows, like the back four, he was throwing that out a bit. You can sidestep that one too. But yeah, like against a rush down Paul, like I've struggled against a rush down Paul as well before.
Yeah, even as a Paul player, like it's still difficult to obviously do. But yeah, it definitely seems like against a rush down Paul, like you just have to know your opportunities. You need to know what they're going to do. Are they going to sidestep? Are they going to do a down one or a low or something like that? Should you duck or something? Or should you
need to be really ready to punish. Paul, he can be played safely. But I find when you're trying to rush someone down, there is a lot of opportunity to come in. Like, I do it sometimes when I try to be quite aggressive, you know, like the forward 2-1, but just sway back. You know, so you can long shot in between, you know, if you're ready for that. You know, his forward 2 mix-up game, you can pretty much shut down if you're pretty switched on. You know, his Death Fist is very linear. His Demo Man, you know, you can backdash out of that one, alright? You know, you can punish Death Fist well if you're switched on. So it just depends on how good your defense is. If you want to play a rushdown Paul defensively, you just need to really know the opportunities of when to come in, when to attack, how to punish certain situations.
Okay. Oh, that's cool. So obviously, if against an offensive Paul, know what to punish. Against a defensive Paul, also play defensive, right? Like that's pretty much the gist of it. That's how you would beat a Paul. That's how you would play a Paul as well. If you're playing Paul, you can choose to be offensive or defensive, but just be ready for what the opponent is going to be doing then, and try and adjust as you go through. Obviously, with any game of Tekken, you should adjust every time your opponent is going. But realistically, if you choose to play Paul, you want to then choose your own defense. Like no. As you can see, like both options, both an offensive Paul and a defensive Paul, both work fantastically. Top level play, it's demonstrated. Right? All you need to do is get good at the type of Paul that you want to play, in order to then like get better at that Paul, right?
Absolutely. And like this instance here, you know, Knee versus Saint. Man, there is not a worst matchup for Jack. God damn. So if you can use Paul and you're up against a Jack.
Oh man, wow, that's a punish?
GG.
GG. Definitely sounds like it. Definitely seems like it.
Yeah, like I'm sure a lot of people know, but you know, up against a wall, you're actually guaranteed down forward one Death Fist, and the Death Fist is when they fall down, so you get that huge.
It's like 60% knockdown or whatever. It's crazy.
It is so big, and I'm not 100% sure actually against Jack, but I know for sure against Gigas. You know his Hammer of the Gods, the forward 1+2.
Yes.
On counter hit, so if you're slightly away from the wall. They do like a backflip. They don't wall splat, they do a backflip, but you're actually guaranteed a rage yard.
It sounds like a bad match. Like if you're playing Paul against a big, you have the advantage regardless.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, absolutely. So he gets some pretty unique situations against the biggies. So it's an uphill battle for sure against Paul.
Obviously, you can see here that Nee still plays quite defensively, but he's also doing a different style of offense now. He's doing a much more movement orientated offense, where he's like swaying, he's sidestepping, but then it's also still applying pressure to Saint, obviously, because Saint's trying to be patient, but he doesn't have the ability to backdash because he's Jack. So.
Yep.
I mean, it's a huge thing right now that obviously, like, your options as Paul, heaps of different options, right? So I think to wrap it up, to sum it up, essentially, if you want to play Paul, know his good moves, right? You've got back 1, 2, you got down forward 1 into sway mix-ups, you have up back 2, and quarter circle forward 4. Quarter circle forward 3, and then death fist, right? Those are your main moves that you use, and you'll see them in top level play, and you'll see them everywhere else. But then once you've got that, I mean, even Joey Fury was doing the exact same thing. Literally, Joey Fury was using the same moves, but just better. Like, it was just ridiculous. Like, he was playing very, very offensively. He would hit back 1, 2 when he wanted to. He would obviously outspace JDCR when he was doing it. So it was a huge thing. So obviously, like, regardless of how you play Paul, if you use the same moves, you will be almost guaranteed to win, as long as you make the right decisions, right? Obviously, it's not about just choosing the moves and going, cool, I'm just going to throw them out whenever. But if you make the right decisions with those moves, the 5 moves that we talked about, 5 or 6 different moves, you'll pretty much be good. Like, there won't be any need for you to, like, worry about it.
Correct. Like, if someone's countering something, or something you're doing with Paul, there is, out of his good moves, there is another option to counteract that.
Yeah. If somebody's stepping, you have all of your homing moves. If somebody isn't stepping, you've got, but they're not doing anything, you've got a few different lows that you can use to cause people to start ducking or going, oh man, my life is chipping away slowly. Now I gotta actually do something. And then they make decisions, they make wrong decisions, and you power back with your death fists. Like, it's crazy. Yeah.
Yep. Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, cool.
And as you're saying, top level players too, you'll see Nee, Joey Fury, they only use 6 or 8 moves, man.
Yeah.
Just certain situations of when to use it.
Yeah, absolutely. You make the right decision. Like, Paul has way more moves than the 6 that we talked about, 6 to 7 moves that we talked about, but you don't need to use them. Like, Paul is such a basic character in that sense, where like he would be quite strong in that sense, and all you need to do is just position yourself well, and then punish your opponent, and that's it.
Correct. I think a few people have experience with it. I actually didn't find him too bad because I know the matchup, but I remember when Dion was going on that tear using Paul.
Oh. Yeah, fair enough.
He was literally Demo Man and Death Fist.
Yeah, it was a 50-50 Paul, right? That's all it was.
So entertaining to watch.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, it's crazy. So, I mean, look, even Dion, like, person that doesn't play Paul a lot, he's able to win with his overly aggressive. He plays it the same as he plays Jack. He plays a very aggressive 50-50 type of character, but he makes good decisions. And I mean, that's what it comes down to is Paul. Like, if you make the right decisions, you will win. And that's all. Like, it's not necessarily that. I mean, it just makes it easier that you get 50% life off of one combo. It makes it easier that you can Death Fist with 30% life into a wall. On counter hit, it's like 50%, and then you do a second one, that's already 80% down. Like, you have that ability, and it's crazy because you have all of those strong points as Paul. So I think we might wrap it up there, because obviously that, like, you've given us heaps of information. And there's not really like any, like, he's got holes, yeah, absolutely. I would still say Paul has holes, but if you make the right decisions as Paul, like if you see that your opponent is very trigger happy and likes pressing a lot of buttons, you don't throw out your punishable stuff. You play a lot more patiently. You wait for the person to press buttons. You death fist them. If you have I guess somebody that is playing very patiently, that's when you can start trying to be a rushdown Paul if you've gotten better at being a rushdown Paul, and that causes you to essentially get the advantage. So I mean, it's I guess it's play Paul how you want. It's not like, if you play Jack's pretty good defensively. You can also rush him down, but Jack is really good defensively because he has a lot of like long range moves that will obviously net him a combo, right? It's not like Feng, where Feng is, I would recommend that you rush down with Feng because he has a very good range 0 set of moves. Or with King, it's like you can choose to rush down with King, but you want people to think you're about to throw them and then see how they react to throws. Like it's not. This is the theory behind a character. This is what you should probably be doing. Like Hwoarang, right? You would go ahead and probably see a bunch of like people that either use the Peacekeeper or whatever, just to essentially keep people out or keep people from pressing buttons, and then rush down using his strings. But Paul, you can choose. You have a choice, and both ways work.
And even for new players, if they use him purely as a 50-50 character, Death Fist, Demo Man sort of mix up, it won't really work, in the long run, which is why I'm a bit against developing them sort of habits. But it will work. It will work to some sort of extent. Like so,
in a tournament, and obviously, like because like if we consider a tournament character, he would. That would definitely work. Like, if you run up and decide Death Fist or Demo Man, like, if your opponent guesses wrong, that's like 50% life gone. Like, it's crazy.
Absolutely. And, by the time they adjust, even if they adjust, after one game, if you're one game up, you have a huge advantage.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
You're like 5 Death Fists away from,
exactly.
pretty much winning the set. So
yeah, or 2. I mean, if they're counter hit, like, it's crazy. Like you have that ability, and I think that's one of Paul's greatest strengths is you can choose to play him how you want, as long as you feel confident in the way that you're playing. You'll be able to take out some people, and especially in a tournament, right? You're looking for the first 2 wins, and then in the grand finals, looking for 3 wins. So if you can mix it up in those 2 rounds. Somebody is expecting you to be a rushdown Paul, but then you play very defensively. They'll be like, what do I do? Like, how do I adjust to that? And that's obviously one of those things where, like, in a tournament, I would say Paul is probably one of your top picks. Like, I would recommend picking Paul in a tournament if you have played a few games with Paul and you sort of feel that he's a good character. Same with Jack. Jack is also one of those characters that you can do that as well. And I would definitely pick Paul over Jack. I've seen a lot of Pauls recently. I think Tin used Paul to beat Kudans at BAM. I've seen obviously Ni choose Paul recently in a lot of his tournaments and stuff like that. So it's definitely one of those things that if you choose him, it's not like you're guaranteed to win, but you're sort of guaranteed to win. You're almost guaranteed to win because he's got so many good tools and stuff. So yeah, well. Awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time, Jono. I know I've kept you a little bit longer than I usually expect, but it's definitely a huge help for myself to learn how to defend against a Paul as well. Because like as I said at the start of the show, like I struggle against Pauls, but now that I know that I can sidestep a lot of his stuff, I can interrupt, and then if I can read and know my opponent a little bit better, I will be able to essentially interrupt or potentially like wait for your any of the high crushing moves to be able to attack it to attack at the right time. Like I'll be able to use the knowledge that you've given me tonight to be able to go ahead and beat even yourself in the tournament. Maybe, who knows? Probably not. But it all
some people learned some things tonight. So,
yeah, absolutely. I hope so.
Area to play against if you know the certain situation.
Yeah. But obviously, as we all know, like Paul isn't necessarily just a 50-50 character. If your character is not very good at a neutral, Paul will have you for breakfast. Like you'll be able to like win or at least do a lot of damage as Paul simply through the neutral game. Like, a lot of the pokes and a lot of the stuff. So really good. Awesome. And then you've got like a whole bunch of other stuff. So I mean, look, I appreciate it. It's a really big help for myself. But hopefully it'll help, because I'll be putting this on my YouTube channel as well later on, so obviously if people want to look back on it, they can. But no, I do appreciate your time, and thanks for tuning in as well.
No worries. It was good.
Awesome.
Good chatting to you.
Yeah, it's always good. Cheers. Thanks very much, Jono. I hope you have a good night, and thank you once again for joining me on Tekken Ohio.
You too. See you guys. Bye.
looks fine.